DraftSociety.com presents a Premier League Draft Fantasy Podcast. Welcome to the Key Pass Collective. Your exclusive source for the information, analysis, and advice you need to dominate your fantasy leagues. Come on in. We've been expecting you.
Draft heads, what is going on? Welcome back to the Key Pass Collective. Oh, it is so good to be back after a wonderful World Cup. And maybe some of you didn't even watch it. Maybe you just relaxed. Maybe you just took it off completely. Which, I guess the jury's still out whether that was the smart idea or not. But man, the football was good. All of the weird human rights abuses aside, and also Salt Bae being just the strangest human on the entire planet. But regardless, welcome back. KPC, draft's back at it. We're here. We're going to get you ready for game week 17. My name's Joe Williams. I will be your host here for this particular episode. Forgive me if I have a couple of voice stutters. I am recovering, unfortunately, from COVID, but it's okay. We're in good spirits here. Joining me this week, we've got Totti and we've got Ryan, the usual, the gang, back together. Totti, how are you, my friend?
I'm good. I haven't tested myself, so I don't know if I as well had COVID, but I have a raspy voice as well, so this is going to be a theme going forward.
All right. Ryan, any rasp going on?
I feel great.
Oh, nice.
No, I ended up getting a COVID booster and a flu shot earlier this week, because, not only you guys, but other folks I know have been stricken with this thing. So, I wanted to try and get ahead of it. So, doing all right for now. Touch wood.
You were afraid that you were going to get it through the mic?
Yes.
With the pod?
Yes.
100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
He was concerned to even be on the same airwaves with me.
Yeah. I would somehow get COVID and have Ryan Brewster on my roster after we
which is
basically
the same as having COVID.
I think I'd rather have COVID, to be honest.
Yeah.
I think that's in the fine print when you get COVID that you have to pick up Ryan Brewster.
Do not pass go.
Guys, what has been your Ryan Brewster moment of this season so far? If you had to nail down one just idiotic thing that you've done, as mine so famously was last season, picking up and touting Ryan Brewster.
Oh man, might have to go to the draft. Just some of my preseason hunches. McGinn in the round 5 sticks out.
Yeah,
but there was reason for that. So I stand by it at the time. Hindsight's 20/20.
It sure is. Totti?
I did draft Matt Doherty in, I think, also round 5 in the community league, and continued to hold him until a week before the World Cup break or something like that.
Oh, no.
Which looks like some mighty fine business.
I think he's going to start this week, though.
I was just going to say, and strangely enough, you probably should have kept him.
I don't have him now.
Oh, man.
Beautiful.
That's
a perfect ending.
But a perfect Ryan Brewster moment is folding out, or how should I put it, in front of our eyes in the High Rollers League, where Benji and myself might start 3 Spurs defenders.
Oh, no. What could go wrong?
A Spurs defensive stack.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
So that is...
I have the best Spurs defender in that league, so who are you talking about? I got Davies in that.
We have Royal, Sessegnon, and the aforementioned Matt Doherty.
Oh, God. Mm-hmm. And you've been touting Davinson Sanchez as well. I'm surprised you guys didn't pick him up.
Yeah. We don't have enough space. Also,
well, okay. So you are in the process of making your Ryan Brewster error of this year.
Exactly.
And try as we might.
With full knowledge of how it's going to
exactly.
go down.
I've just realized, as I was looking for my own Ryan Brewster moment, that across the three of my main leagues, my highest ranked non-injured forward is Brian Mbomo.
Oh my!
Really?
Yeah.
Holy shit!
Yeah, that might be.
I had the unfortunate Luis Diaz, Diogo Jota combo in two of my leagues. And then it's sprinkled. The love is sprinkled on with Gianluca Scamacca and Luis Sinisterra.
It is one of those years. Absolutely, it definitely is.
Yep.
It definitely is. But hey, I mean, now's the perfect time to turn that around. So that's what we're going to try to at least help our listeners do if we can't do it ourselves. But yeah, especially because in some of your leagues, some of the players we're going to talk about today are probably still available, which is amazing because most of them have been immediately scooped up after the World Cup in a lot of ours. But there's some diamonds out there, some diamonds in the rough. So we're going to talk about those today. We're going to go through true, false. We're going to talk what I'm calling Acronym Alley, a lovely little place to be. We're going to talk DGWs, double game weeks, and we're going to talk FDT, Fixture Difficulty Tracker. So those two acronyms, we'll talk through what they mean for your fantasy futures. And then finally, some injury updates and some streamers. And just a reminder that, of course, the Key Pass Collective brought to you by thedraftsociety.com, the place where we just released our consensus rankings right before game week 17, right as we came back from the World Cup, upon completion of the World Cup. And that was just released recently. So head over and check that out. Brand new rankings for the rest of season values for the players. And we're going to talk more about that next week on the pod. So something to look forward to. Little rankings chat next week. And I just wanted to jump in here real quick to let you know, listeners, that if you are interested in joining the Inner Circle, which gives you a ton of benefits, so many benefits, but included in those would be the Fixture Difficulty Tracker, our consensus rankings, personalized confidential trade advice, and so much more. If you are interested in that, right now we are actually running a special in which you get it completely half off, so you're paying half the price of what it normally would have cost, even though we're not quite halfway through the season. You can get it half off on the site right now. Go check it out. Season pass, half off. Enjoy. Take us up on it. But gentlemen, without further ado, let's go ahead and get into it. Let me see if I can pull up the dulcet tones of Mr. Schwarzenegger.
Tell me the truth. You owe me that much.
All right. We're going to discuss many of the players on the lips of fantasy managers after the World Cup. So players who might have impressed, players who maybe got injured and who's going to take their place, players who maybe found form during the World Cup, and players who, maybe to put it kindly, are quite well rested now. So sorry about your countries not making it, but hey, even better for our fantasy teams, unfortunately, or fortunately, one way or the other. So let's kick it off, boys. True or false? This was mine. This is the skeptic in me. This is the pessimist in me speaking. But I'm thinking that many of our listeners are going to go out and probably try to scoop up Julian Alvarez upon the completion of the World Cup because of his stunning performance and his World Cup winning performance. So I said true, false. After a stunning World Cup, Julian Alvarez will start 5 or fewer matches rest of season for City. What do we think?
I think it's true.
I think it's false.
Oh.
Okay, well, let me tell you why I think it's true. Past his prologue, he started 3 games this season. 3 out of, 16? So, yeah, it's about a fifth or so. My math is fantastic. And so there's 21 games left. So for him to start 5 would be about a quarter. So he's starting less than that right now. Barring, I mean, this is all predicated upon Haaland not getting injured. If he doesn't get injured, I can see him being around 4 to 5 starts. So I think it's less.
Okay, Totti.
I think it's more, and I think it's more because, and I don't think it's related to the World Cup. Like, obviously he's been doing well, but it's a very different system with very different needs. I think he'll start more when we get to the business end of the Champions League, and Pep will obviously overthink and fudge up the Champions League semi-final, but leading up to that, I think that will be Haaland's place to start, and obviously I'm hoping that Arsenal can keep up the pressure on City.
I was going to say, I don't think they can sit back and just phone it in the league.
Yeah, but phoning it in meanings you start the starting forward for the World Cup winning nation. That's not phoning it in. Like if you were saying that the option behind Erling Haaland would be Liam Delap, then I wouldn't be so confident. But the fact that you have a guy who was touted even before this amazing World Cup as a great talent who just lit up the Argentinian Premier League. Yeah, I think he'll be closer to 8. But
okay.
It's not a huge gotcha moment, but like closer to 6. No, but yeah. I think eight around 8 would be my guess.
All right,
so close to half.
Okay, but so 8 to me then, does that mean that's a player that you're gonna hold?
I have not seen him dropped since draft day.
Wow.
In any of my leagues.
Since draft day?
No. Have you?
Yes, absolutely.
I have, yeah.
I haven't.
He's not available right now, but I think he was dropped a couple times after that initial run of games. Yeah, he was dropped because he just didn't start for 7 games in a row.
I think he's gonna, like, if you were gonna get him, which I probably wouldn't recommend, but if you were gonna wait for the opportunity to pick him up, then it would be at the beginning of January, because I doubt he starts in the next 3, and there will be some strange AF lineups in the next 3 for anyone who has him right now to be able to hold him. So I would wager that he's gonna be on the wire before the year is out.
I think we need to go back to last year and see. I mean, we always talk about, when City gets deep into the Champions League, they're going to prioritize that because they haven't won it. So some of these fringe players are going to get more starts around that time. We should go back to last year and see if that was actually the case, because I don't remember there being like a clear pattern of that. I just remember, Foden and Mahrez kind of rotating a little bit, but I don't remember many of the others. I don't remember like Ferran Torres getting many games or anything like that. But I could be wrong about that. But yeah, we should definitely delve deeper into that to try and suss out whether that's going to happen.
Didn't he leave in January? No.
I mean, years previous as well.
Yeah,
I honestly didn't remember that. So
yeah, I don't think like
he's the equivalent of Julian Alvarez. So he would be the best kind of case study for that. But I'm trying to think of the equivalent of last year and during their run. But Pep just doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Like trying to rationalize and think what Pep might do is we should know better.
Yeah, I think even more so. I think this World Cup, as in a weird sense, actually might steal his wool a bit more and be like, "Oh, you think I'd feel pressure to start this kid? I'm not going to start him for the rest of the season."
Right.
Yeah, that's very realistic. Like, I could see that happening.
Man, I'm just not going to be the guy who holds him for the rest of the year.
No, God, no.
If I had 8 bench spots, maybe 10 bench spots, maybe, but like, no. Given the really shallow depth, the benches that most people have in this game, no, I'm not doing it.
I have him in a league, and in that league I have Bernardo, Foden, Grealish, and Alvarez. So I think that's a bit of a stack that might help hold him.
I could see that, yeah.
But yeah, that just means that I'm City dependent, which is never easy. Sometimes very good.
Sometimes, but then you have weeks like this week when it's literally the last match of the game week, like it usually or often is, when you could just find yourself completely screwed and out in the cold.
Yep.
And meanwhile,
Luckily,
Pep is laughing and spitting on your grave.
I'll just drop Julian Alvarez for Willy Nyanto.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, do you? It is weird how often they are the last game, and I don't know if that's because we just feel it more. But it seems like they're the last game quite a bit.
Yeah.
No.
If only we had some friends of ours who do this shit with us, who could gather some statistics and help us out.
Lesser men may cry foul and start to think there's a conspiracy going on, but we're not going to go there, of course, because we are not lesser men.
We are more men.
We're more.
If anything, more.
We're bigger, huger.
Men are.
All right, moving right along with a seamless transition. Marcus Rashford, darling of the England team, will be a top 15 player rest of season.
Off the top of your head, Joe, or off the end of your finger, do you know where he is ranked in our consensus ranks?
I know that I have him at 10.
At 10.
Yep.
Oh,
wow. Yeah, well, indeed.
How confident am I in that? I don't know. But with the departure of Ronaldo, his form, his just persona, how giant he is in the world of English football, and the fact that he had his stint on the sidelines, sort of out of the spotlight, but he's back, and there's no chance that he is going to get benched if he's healthy. And I think that there's going to be goals in that team.
He is ranked 23rd by our consensus. That's an 18 spot jump from our previous ranks. You have him out on your own as the highest. Even dearly departed Draft Genie has him at 13.
We miss you,
Pour
Genie.
one out.
Yeah. I'm gonna say
But we're talking 15 here, not 10.
Ryan and myself have him in a dead heat at 27, and then all the rest of the guys have him between 18 and 32. Yeah, no, I don't think, like, if I did think he was a top 15 player, I probably would have ranked him as
I was going to say, then you're a liar.
Yes. No, I don't think he's a top 15 player, but he is much improved. That I will give you.
I'm in the same boat. I get absolutely the argument for him being on the come up, because I think he absolutely is. And I watched that goal against Burnley in real time. It's Burnley, of course, but that goal was fantastic. So he's certainly banging form. I think United are going to be actually pretty decent the second half. So I get him being top 20, top 25, but 15 is just a bridge too far for me. I think he's less than 9 points per start thus far this season. It's Kiefer Moore, Ruben Neves type numbers. But I think he's going to improve, just not as much as a top 15 finish would warrant.
All right, I like it.
But I like where your head's at.
We shall see. Yeah, we shall see. No, I mean, I just think all of United has been fairly shit to start the season. I think there's only up from here. So we'll see. And it pains me to say it, to be honest, but that's where I'm at. That's where my head's at. Okay, Ryan, next one's yours, yeah?
Yes. Gabriel Jesus will have more than 15 starts rest of season.
15.
So we are in game week 17.
Yeah.
That means we have 21 more game weeks. Okay, let's do some maths.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, 22, given that we haven't had 17 yet.
That's fair. And
yeah.
Is that yeah, okay, that calculates the Queen's death game week as a non-game week, right? So that still needs to be rescheduled.
I don't know.
Yes.
Okay.
It was hard enough for me to even get there.
Okay, yeah. So we have 22 game weeks. We'll have 5 game weeks from today to the end of January. So I'm pretty, we can have a consensus among ourselves that he's definitely missing those 5, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So between the 1st of February and the 20-something of May, you are saying, or you are asking us if he's missing 2 or more. Right? I've rephrased the question, I'm aware, but that is my understanding of the question.
I believe the math checks out. Yes.
I think
I didn't check the math, but
I think he's not starting 15 games or more.
So it's the reason I did 15 because it's a nice round number, but also because he's believe the reports, if you want, they're targeting the game against Leicester City, I think February 25th, and I want to say that's 6 or 7 games on from now. And so that would put him right at around 15 if he makes it back and starts that game and then the rest of the season. So it's right around then. I think it's going to fall just short of that, but I think it'll be close if there's not any setbacks, I think, in his recovery.
I'm just so afraid of that MCL injury.
Yeah.
That's a knee injury. It's not like a hamstring or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh man. Yeah, I gotta go no on that one.
So which was the game that you said?
Leicester,
February 25th.
Yep. And if he started,
and that's like the most, I think, optimistic scenario. But I mean, they seem pretty bullish about his recovery thus far. Because I mean, he did have at least like 3 weeks from like surgery, so he's got almost a month in already.
Yeah, but there are 9 games between now and then.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he's going to be lucky to get 12.
10. Yeah.
10. Yeah, my thinking is 10 as well.
Yeah, it'll be around then.
So what are fantasy managers doing with him?
I'm holding.
Yeah.
I made 10 solid game weeks in the business end of the season with a top 5 asset, and that's obviously pricing in him getting back to his best. and what he's shown us thus far, which, as you mentioned, with an MCL injury could be kind of a stretch. But yeah, I think those 10 game weeks, top 5 production, I think you got to hold, which is different from the Diaz scenario, which I laid out on Twitter why I think he's a drop and Jesus is a hold.
Yeah, I dropped Diaz, and he's sitting there on free agency. No one's picked him up.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
I dropped him today, and it was tough for fucking Harrison Reed.
Oh, it's brutal.
yeah. I actually like your logic there with Jesus. Obviously, I wouldn't condemn anyone dropping him because it's right in the cusp.
Yeah,
I'm not sure that that which one of the players, Diaz or Jesus, will start more rest of the season, and therefore it shouldn't be like clear cut. One is a drop, one is a keep. But I think it wholly depends on roster. Like the team that I mentioned before, with the 5 City guys, can no way support holding Jesus for 9 weeks.
Yeah, like, you already have a lot of dead.
Yeah, like I would obviously I would drop Julian Alvarez if he doesn't start in the next few, but otherwise, like, yeah, I wouldn't. I would probably be starting 10 starters most of the game weeks if I had like a rotation heavy high upside roster like the one I have in the community league. So yeah, it's roster dependent for me, the hold or drop, but definitely the 15 starts seems a bridge too far.
Ryan, if he were to come back around that time, oh boy, Leicester, Bournemouth, Fulham, Crystal Palace, Leeds. Sure, you have a game for Liverpool, then you have West Ham, Southampton before two against City and Chelsea.
Please God.
Is that the last two?
No. They end the season Newcastle, Brighton, Forest, and Wolves. I mean, that could win you if you play in leagues that have playoffs. That could win you your league right
100%.
there. If you play in leagues with just a table, winning 3 of your last 4 based on Jesus' performances, like that's worth its weight in gold.
Yeah, he misses. I mean, unfortunately for Arsenal, he misses a lot of the difficult matches. But for fantasy purposes, he would be coming back at exactly the right time.
Yeah, right, exactly. Yeah. The ones that you kind of like need to win for Arsenal's sake in the table, but not really for your fantasy. Yeah, I see.
Yeah, he's missing at Brighton, Newcastle, Spurs away, Man United, City. I mean, yeah, it's going to be a rough stretch. But
all right,
man, Eddie,
I think I'm with you. Yeah, I think I'm with you in holding him. And for God's sake, listeners, if you're in a home league or whatever, check if Nketiah is available right now. Do it, because it's just ridiculous to be able
18% is absurd.
Oh,
I was taken aback when I saw that, and I was like, dear God.
No, that's going to change hugely though, I think, in the next couple days, but we'll see.
I hope so. Jesus.
Yeah. All right. Well, yeah, it's with sadness we have to talk about that, but it is what it is. Yeah. At least there's light at the end of the tunnel.
Yeah, I'm cautiously optimistic for Eddie. I was never an Eddie guy. I just saw him miss way too many sitters. But last year he actually brought me back on board, and I was impressed by how well he did last year. So from what I've read, he's been working pretty hard in Dubai, and they've had the news obviously for weeks now that he's going to be leading the line. So they've been training with most of the troops based on the fact that Eddie's going to be leading the line. So that's got to help a little bit, you would think. So yeah, I'm willing to give him the benefit of the doubt and back him. So we'll see.
You think they go out to sign someone?
I think they will. I don't think it's necessarily going to be an out-and-out striker that would supplant Eddie while Jesus is out. But I think the Mudryk and maybe someone like a Gakpo could be could be signed. They were talking about it even before Jesus went down, just for
So a big signing.
depth.
You mean?
Yeah, I think so.
Either of those two would be probably close to the top two expected January signings.
From what I've read, they have apparently earmarked 50 to 60 million for January. Whether or not it's just one lump sum for someone like Mudryk or Gakpo, or if they split it up and say,
or it's just a huge weekend in Bangkok.
Yeah. Yeah, maybe Josh Kroenke just blows it all on
just
strippers
Kroenke.
and coke and in Vegas.
Yeah.
But whether they just spunk it on one player like a Mudryk, or if they split it up and get like Tielemans for 20-25 before his contract runs out, and maybe more of a prospect to provide winger depth. I'm not sure. Plus, there's always the option of putting Martinelli up top if you really need to. But it'll be interesting to see what they do in January.
Speaking of January
which
signings.
is a great segue. Yes,
Yes.
I just realized that.
Very nice.
Yeah. Ding, ding, ding. The next true false, which is one I put in there about the January transfer window, which is very timely. No January signing will score more than 150 points rest of season. For reference, Kulusevski was the best January signing last year, points-wise. I think he scored over 220 from when he was signed, and Coutinho had like 170. So this is
how much did Feck cost? I guess
12.5 probably. haven't gone through the numbers, but
now in the World Cup though, made his mark.
Some pivotal goals there for the Dutch.
Sorry to interrupt. For another reference, guys who scored around 150 so far are
I'm looking at that too.
Rodrigo, Bruno Fernandes, Rodrigo Bentancur, and Son Heung-min.
But the thing going for the January window this season is that they'll have more games the second half of the season given the World Cup break.
Yep.
So we're in game week 17 now, where we would be 22 or something, 21 last season. So they will have more opportunities to score more points coming in the January window.
Where do you see an opening that a team would actually address that opening, bring in a nailed-on starter, and have somebody who potentially would be a game changer enough to impact the actual on-field game enough to where they're going to score fantasy points as well?
Arsenal, United.
Arsenal where?
Like we just talked about it.
Oh,
but if they bring in Mudryk or Cody Gakpo, then he's starting and he's challenging Jesus or Martinelli for a spot in the starting lineup.
But he wouldn't be nailed on.
Yeah, so I'm still thinking Nketiah is going to get his time. And
if say Mudryk came, I wouldn't bet that he would get more than 150 points the rest of the season. I think it could be close, but he wouldn't be nailed on immediately. And some of the signings from last January were just completely out of the blue, like Coutinho coming into Villa, Kulusevski, like nobody knew that much about him, comes in immediately, hits the ground running. So like, even though we can't foresee it now, I mean, it's still very possible. But I think last January was such an aberration, given that so many players, Bruno Guimaraes, I mean, so many players just hit the ground running for a January window.
Again, if we have 5 more game weeks until the end of January, so if we are talking about signings who come in later-ish, then they would feasibly have like 17 18 games
Yeah.
to complete that. For another reference, Bruno Fernandes, when he came in, he started 13 games.
Mhm.
And in those 13 games, he got very close to that 150. He got 148.5, but he didn't get to 150 in that season.
If you look at Rodrigo right now, he's only played 885 minutes on 13 games played, and he has 151.
Yeah, but he's farting goals.
Well, I mean, sure, but it doesn't. That just goes to show, right? It doesn't take a lot. Like if you have Fernandez at 1168, and he's behind Rodrigo in points right now, so it's just like somebody could catch fire and just. All this to say, I think there'll be at least a guy who does it.
I don't. Totti? I disagree. I don't think so.
I've straddled the fence kind of all day on this. I'm going to say yes. I think there'll be a random that might hit the ground running.
Give us a
Cunha,
fully random.
Cunha could do it.
Fully random. You had that Cunha.
Oh yeah,
up your sleeve.
I had the arrow in the quiver there.
yeah.
No, it actually just came to me, but it was perfect.
Do you? Chelsea have been linked with Guardiola. Do you think that gets done in January, and could that potentially?
Who?
No, they'd have to get like 60 clean sheets for that to happen. I don't know how
Guardiola
prolific
scored.
He
like he had I think I don't want to miss.
Did you start him in the World Cup at all?
I started him in a few games, but he had like a 5 point per 90.
Oh, okay.
Score or something like that.
I don't think he's.
Don't tell anyone I didn't play World Cup Fantasy. But
lame.
Needed a break. Sorry. I'm back though. I'm back.
back to not playing real fantasy.
Exactly. Precisely. Back to playing a very niche draft game that is way better than any sort of real fantasy. Anyway. Okay, we ready to move on?
Yep.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right. Darwin Nunez will be a top 10 player rest of season. Is this yours, Ryan, as well?
Yeah. I think it's true.
You didn't rank him like that.
I mean,
he has done some soul searching.
I think it's a coin. I think it's a coin flip, and I was a little bit conservative in the ranks, but I think he'll have all the opportunities to be a top 10 player.
To be fair, he did rank him 11th, so I think that's close enough. Like that's a smidge. It's one Reece James knee wobble away from ranking him 10th.
And you did watch him today.
That may have inspired this.
I think I just really like the song.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Listen to these scores the last 4 games.
Yeah, I know he was on fire.
15, 12.5, 18.5, 30. I mean, Diaz isn't coming back. Jota's going to be till March. February. He's going to be starting every game. And if he can keep somewhat of this form up, and we all think, I mean, this result today notwithstanding, Liverpool will be on the up in the second half of the season. I have, all of the optimism that he can be a top 10 player.
I can be persuaded to this. Like I ranked him 15th, but I could very well rank him between among the top 10. So yeah, I think I kind of agree.
I would love for it to be true. I would love for it to be true. I just don't think it's going to be. I don't think this is quite his year yet. I think it's not that he's betting in. He's getting the hang of the game. But for him, finishing is something that is elusive, and he's still learning that craft.
Well,
so
sorry, I'm just looking
Speechless.
for the song.
right, I'm convinced. I'm thoroughly convinced.
That has to be enough.
I know, I like it. I'm thoroughly convinced.
Thank you.
Oh man. Okay. All right. Well, anyway, like I said, love for it to be true. Hoping it is. I don't see it, but it's the Rashford thing with you guys, so it's cool.
Yeah.
Forwards,
no, it's just like a little bit more than
forwards are so hit or miss, especially this year, man. It's tough. So, yeah. Let's
13.1 points per start, by the way.
That's beautiful.
Yeah. If he gets even close to that, he's a top 10 player.
I was just going to look at how we all have him ranked. So Genie has him 25. I have him 17. Totti, you have him 15. Ryan 11. Robbie 16. Gavin 15. Draft Lab 13. And Chap 1 16. So, yeah, okay. Yeah.
It's not much of a stretch.
No, it really isn't. Yeah, it really isn't. And like you said, starting basically all the matches, bar the ones that Firmino's healthy. So. All right, moving right along. The lack of response, very intentional there by Ryan. Okay, Ryan, next one you have for us.
No Wolves player will be in the top 40 rest of season.
This must just kill you. How did you even write this?
So that I could say it's false.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, this doesn't mean that I'm baking in true on all these.
Okay.
Other than for Darwin Nunes.
That just reminds me of like middle school dances. Dancing was that because that's Darude, right? Sandstorm.
I have no idea.
It's a classic. Come on.
Yeah, I know it's a classic, but I don't know who sings it. My God. And he's done more with it than they ever did.
That's ridiculous.
I don't think that's Sandstorm. Sandstorm is.
You're right. Sorry. No, sorry. That song, my bad. You're right, Totti. Thank you. That song is Better Off Alone by Alice DJ.
Yes.
Yeah. Do you think you're...
Yep. No, keep going. Yeah, do it.
Yeah, sorry. No, I'd rather sing the Nunes song.
You're no Andres Posada.
Yeah, that's why I'm not on the jingles.
Certainly. This is off the rails, lads. Totti, Wolves, rest of the season.
We have the highest ranked Wolves player in our consensus ranks is one talismanic Adama Traore.
Right.
At 69.
Who is linked with a potential move away.
Yeah, possibly. The current highest ranked, points-wise, highest ranked Wolves player is Ruben Neves at 47.
Mm-hmm.
Ding, ding, ding.
That's the one?
That's the one you think makes it to the 40?
No. Not necessarily. I think there are a couple different candidates that could do it, but the Neves point is that they've been playing like absolute dog shit, and they still have a player that's at 47.
Yeah,
knocking on the door of 40.
I think 40 is like a very low mark. Like 40 you could easily get into top 40 overall. Just like Ruben Neves could have easily made it to the top 40 if he could have started he was injured the last few games. If he started 2 more games, then he would probably have made the top 40. So I think 40 is not a huge ask, and that's why I'm probably gonna say yes. Like someone will sneak in.
Wow, look at that.
Mm-hmm. But if you were really adventurous and said 25,
no,
which is where the good players are at. Like,
oh, fuck off!
You can't. Come on. What? Oh, 25. So only the first 2 rounds of the draft are where the good players are.
Like, does either of you have Ruben Neves?
No.
Rostered?
No.
Why?
I like my players to score points.
He's a top 50 player, top 47 player.
I didn't have the opportunity. There's this guy in my league that always takes him.
Otherwise, you would have.
Given the right circumstances.
Yeah,
there's no other players available.
He's available in like the 8th round, and I can take him.
I have two Wolves on my team currently. One of them being Daniel Podence, and
I think he's a very good candidate to do top 40 rest of season if he can stay healthy.
Yeah, he'll have his games where he's crap, but then he'll just out of nowhere, put up 9 to 12 a lot of weeks, and it's just he doesn't even have to do anything really. And we saw him ghost out of his mind earlier in the season. So, yeah, I don't know. I like him, and then also Gedesh.
I think whoever nails down one of those wing spots and is a consistent starter will crack the top 40, whether that's Gedesh, Podence, Adama, whoever.
I think a defender who nails down a defensive starting spot is more likely to get to the 40.
So here's what you should do.
Like a Collins?
No, I'm thinking
or
like
you're
a
thinking fullbacks.
If Bueno is relegated,
I think he's going to rotate
if
enough
he's
to not do it.
Yeah, if he's rotating enough, no. I'm thinking someone like Kilman, honestly. Like if they can actually start keeping clean sheets, and if they can actually put in shifts at the back, because that's like obviously we have been focusing on the inaptitude up front, but they haven't been very good at the back either. And it's not just Jose Saz returning to earth from last season's angelic performance.
Well, yeah.
It's they haven't been very good. Oh no, but if Lopetegui can sort the defense, I think that's more likely to like slowly get there.
Yeah, it's possible.
Because I think there will be a bit more rotation in midfield than up front. Because I think they're getting Cunha, and I think they will be getting in at least one more player to challenge the starters, and it's not going to be a defender. They're okay at for defensive numbers.
They were linked when they were linked with Cunha. They were linked also with adding this defender, another defender from Atletico Madrid, Felipe. I don't know too much about him, which I was surprised about as well. So I think they could still be in the market for a defender. But yeah, I would agree with you that it's not a done deal that they're going to bring in another defender, but
it's going to be close. Like it's not going to be like, damn, this top 40 thing was a wash, because like they have 5 players in the top 40 and 2 or 3 in the top 25. It's not going to be that. I still am pretty confident that they're not going to reach 13th. That was our bet, right?
Yeah, I'm still hopeful about that. They're not points wise that far off, and again they were rock bottom, and I rate Lopetegui as a manager, and I think he's gonna have quite a good run coming up here. So yeah, hope springs eternal, but I think they're going to be close to 13.
Yep.
But that's why they play the games.
Yep.
It will be interesting.
Yeah.
They certainly have a kinder fixture list, right?
Well, I think we're going to bury the lead with the fixture difficulty tracker.
Yes, okay.
Knowing Totti, he's probably not even going to mention Wolves. So
that's my fault. All right.
No, they got it's boom or bust these next 4 for Wolves. They're away at Everton on Boxing Day, and then they have West Ham at home, and then City, Liverpool back to back before Southampton.
Okay. So a lot of them are going to be streamers, is what you're saying.
But even streamers can get to top 40.
Sure, no. Of course. Yeah, that's not what I'm saying. I just mean in terms of picking them up.
Totti, would you be interested in a wager?
Okay.
Always. Especially when I'm drunk.
Well, I'm always drunk on Wolves, so it's even worse.
There it
Affliction.
is.
Tell me.
Rest of season, Gedesh top 40.
You're that confident?
I would love to hedge with 50, even though everybody else has him at like 130. So I should be getting more points if it were a bet.
Like the odds would be better?
Yeah, exactly.
Where do I have him?
You're the one of the more rational ones, but
Okay, I have him at 73.
yeah.
But doesn't the Cunha news surprise you?
No, I mean they always needed a number 9. I mean Diego Costa and Jimenez have been shit. I think he would actually benefit from a decent forward up top to link up with. I think he's going to nail down either the left or right wing spot.
Yeah, I have him at 85.
Yeah.
That's not otherworldly.
No, that's actually
It's among the higher ones.
yeah.
I did try to pick him up in 2 of my leagues as well. So yeah, I think he'll be decent.
40's a bit frisky.
Yeah, I'm
50 or 60 would be a better bellwether.
50 or 60 is everyone, really.
Well, not when you have him at 80 something. I mean, that's still a stretch from where you think he's going to be.
Yeah, but you did the rankings too, Ryan. You know, once you get past like 40 or 50,
of
it's
course.
like, oh my God, what have I done to myself?
But what's the consensus for him on that? I'm not even going to come close to asking for that.
Listeners,
No,
he's consensus
91.
at 91.
Yeah, no. I'm fine. I'm fine saying that he's not gonna make top 60.
Okay, done.
Top 60. Wow.
Joe Linton is 53rd right now.
Well, I mean, that's royalty. You don't need to.
That's hallowed ground. Don't you dare say anything about him.
Yeah.
I'm just saying he's been playing pretty well, and he's only 53rd. Like Gedesh would have to actually start games and then do well in those starts. So
Good point.
I'm not that worried.
All right. So 60 it is.
60.
Yeah, we'll do 60.
Okay. All right, boys. We got 2 left. These will be quicker, maybe, because they're pretty absurd. They're pretty outlandish on purpose. This was after I started drinking my hot toddy.
Am I the only one that's not drunk?
I'm not drunk. I mean, I just needed something to calm my throat down a little bit. The fact that it had alcohol in it, that's not even that's a side thought. Yeah. So anyway,
There's no tea at home.
No,
that's why he had to use whiskey.
This was a crime of opportunity.
We don't keep that here. Just kidding. We have so much tea. It's ridiculous. Anyway, all right. Hakim Ziyech, boys, darling of the World Cup, will outscore Raheem Sterling from now until the end of the season. Now, okay, look, it's kind of ridiculous, but did you have to think about it for a second? That should tell you everything you need to know.
No.
No.
Did you?
So you're saying this is false?
Yes.
Okay. So is this more about your faith in Raheem Sterling, which, my God, please tell me why?
No.
Or is this because you believe that Ziyech will retain the role that he had before the World Cup?
Yeah, this is my faith in Graham Potter stubbornly keeping him on the bench or shifting him in January.
Okay.
Just like with Julian Alvarez, I think we are projecting our perceived importance of the World Cup to anything that is happening in the Premier League. Like I think I don't know if it was an article or a podcast I was listening to from The Athletic, and it was discussing how the World Cup drives transfers, and they were all pretty much saying that, like, if you think that the top teams need a World Cup to identify talent, even either in their own team or in like a different team to scout, then you're very wrong. The only reason the World Cup can drive top tier transfers is if there is a rush or a clamor, meaning that these teams would have to act quicker than they would normally have to act, like the Luis Diaz transfer last January. Liverpool had been looking at him for months, and when the Spurs' interest became a reality, they just went and did everything like in 5 days. They probably wouldn't have signed him in January if it weren't for the Spurs' interest. And it's the same with Ziyech. Graham Potter has seen him train and seen him do absolutely fuck all, week in, week out. The fact that he's done okay for Morocco at the World Cup doesn't make him think like, oh, this dude can play football now. Let's play him more. It's just. I think it's us, the general public, thinking that we know football, which we do. But
that's fair. That's fair.
It's in Hungary we say that we are the country of 10 million national team managers, because because everyone has something to say about the national team, and I feel that thinking about stuff like this is similar to that. Like the fact that Liverpool signed El Hadji Diouf in 2002 was very 2002, and that was 20 years ago. And top clubs don't work like that anymore.
I agree to a certain extent. I think that a World Cup, however, can remind a player who he truly is and like what he truly stands for and can do on a pitch and can accomplish on a pitch. I think another player who might have had that sort of wake up call might also be Christian Pulisic. But I don't have any faith that Graham Potter will necessarily like take the World Cup into his management decisions, but I do think that it might spur a player on to play harder, to train harder, to find that form that he's been missing. And I will remind you that Raheem Sterling currently has 83.5 points on the season. So what I said was that Raheem Sterling or that Hakeem Ziyech could outscore Raheem Sterling from here on out. So starting now, I don't know. If he were to get a shot, I think it's possible, but I'm with you. I don't actually think that he will.
Yeah, I mean, if they were both starting, it would be very, very close. It's just the fact that we don't think that he will.
Right.
Is what puts Sterling ahead.
Exactly. The left wing back Raheem Sterling still scores better than benched Ziyech.
God, and to think he doesn't even get any clean sheet point. Oh wait, never mind. They don't have those. Sorry.
They don't do that stuff around here.
No. Okay, final one. Of course, this is going to be the melty slab face that everyone is going to be speaking about after his performance at the World Cup, because he always performs well for his country, but not always for his club. Harry Maguire will finish as a top 15 defender.
Well, this one did make me think about how absolutely hilarious that sounds. False.
Okay, Ryan, remember that Ben White is currently defender 11.
Yes.
I mean, he's a great defender.
So much so that he got sent
beautiful
home
man.
from the World Cup.
I mean, you're starting right back at the league leaders. You don't have to listen to Steve Holland or whatever the fuck. I do want to learn more about that because it sounds
it's
really
very
silly.
Weird. Yeah.
Really, really silly.
Very weird.
He does seem like a pretty touchy guy, but yeah, I don't know.
Was it like that he didn't know who they were playing or something like that?
All I've kind of read and sussed out was that he had some sort of disagreement or shouting match with one of the assistant coaches, and they couldn't patch it up, and so he decided to go home.
I read it was something to do with being unprepared. Like he didn't know what position he was going to play.
Where the hell is Senegal?
That checks out.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just testament to the fact that he's so flexible and adaptable. Yeah, he doesn't know. He doesn't know his best position. Right? How is he supposed to answer that?
I'll give you a better. No offense, Joe. This was a very good true or false.
This was
very
purely,
good.
for S's and G's.
I appreciate you writing this. This was very good discussion. But maybe it could even be made better. Harry Maguire will finish as a top 15 defender for the next 3 game weeks.
That I could see.
Okay.
Because
all they would need would be like 1 or 2 clean sheets, and that would probably do it. And him starting, obviously, all 3.
Yeah. So the 2 starting centre-backs, consensus starting centre-backs for United both played in the World Cup final.
Mm-hmm.
Meaning if he's healthy, which he isn't now because he has the flu.
Right.
But if he's healthy
they're saying he should be fine.
For the Forest game, he has Forest, Wolves, and Bournemouth. in the next 3. 2 of those at home.
I think Wolves are gonna. No.
I'll
hold on.
Say it, Ryan. Say it.
Wolves are gonna beat that ass.
Gadesh will get into the top 60.
Yes,
based on this one
on 30 spot, he's going to drop at Old Trafford. Yes.
Oh, your lips to God's ears.
I mean, I'd be happy losing that bet based on that one game.
I bet.
Man United have the highest clean sheet odds of any team this week at 52%. So there is that.
I'd still, to be honest,
Aurier is going to bust them up.
I'd still not be confident of him being top 15 defender because they're gonna like private jet Lisandro Martinez and Rafael Varane of some remote island that they're on.
Right.
After
a half of seeing him play.
Yeah, it's gonna be like Brennan Johnson tying his feet in a knot, and then they'll get Varane and Martinez on a plane again, and then they can just walk into the stadium without training and start against Wolves.
Man, I mean, I'm very excited just to see. Like,
I did pick him up though in 2 leagues, so I'm.
It's not a bad punt. I mean,
no, it's that. No,
there's a lot of.
That's a good streamer. That's a good streamer. And he has games where he does ghost, actually, surprisingly.
Yeah, for sure.
And of course, I mean, hate it or love it, he is always a goal threat with that big old forehead. So it's like, yeah, we've seen him put him away before. No, against Forest? Yeah, why the hell not? Absolutely.
Yeah, I can see that.
So I did go into the wager document and put in the Gadesh lock. And I saw, and I totally forgot about this one, Totti, but we bet before the season started more fantasy points Jesus or Foden, and that freaking injury puts me in a freaking bind there.
And another one as well, the Firmino Jesus goals.
No, well,
I don't think we ever bet on that, but
that many goals.
Not lately, but we never bet on that. But
didn't we?
No, But this one is brutal because I think Jesus had him by like 20 points going into the break, which is not a huge lead, but decent amount. And now I'm probably going to lose that because of these next 2 months.
Brutal.
But Wolves will bail me out.
Of course. Yeah,
and
absolutely.
Gadesh as well.
Yeah.
Always.
Yeah, definitely. All right. Are we ready to leave Harry Maguire in the dust?
Let's.
All right. Acronym Alley. DGWs and FDT.
Where's the drop?
I don't have one. I had COVID, Totti.
So you're just singing on the spot?
Yeah. Yes, I am.
I guess I am.
Anyway.
Well,
DGWs. Everybody knows what those are. So let's start with those. We do have some probable or possible double game weeks, some confirmed, but then some that are, bordering on the more probable, and then some that are sort of conjecture at this point. But Ryan, do you want to give us a rundown on some double game weeks?
Yep. So game week 19, there will be 2 teams that have double game weeks that game week. Chelsea and Fulham. Obviously, they play each other, as well as Chelsea has Man City and Fulham have Leicester. So game week 19, Fulham have Chelsea and Leicester. Chelsea have City and Fulham. So those are the only 2 for game week 19 as of now. A little bit further down the road in game week 23, Arsenal and Man City have double game weeks. So Arsenal has Brentford and City have Villa and Arsenal. So those, as far as I know, are the only confirmed double game weeks as of now. But there are some other potential double game weeks that aren't confirmed and are too early to call. Krellin has been talking about potential double game weeks, or even the prospect of, dare I say, a triple game week for Brighton upcoming. But he seems to be pretty bullish on Brighton and Palace having a DGW in game week 21. So do with that what you will. I think something, at least that I'm trying to do right now, is to quietly obtain Fulham assets that I think are going to be have a decent shot of playing both of those games. But it's tricky because 19 is right after the quickfire 17, 18. And so they'll still probably be a decent amount of rotation between the first game of the double game week and the second. So that's what makes it a little bit tricky to navigate. But someone like I think a Harrison Reed, you can have a pretty good confidence that he'll start both. And then, obviously the goalkeepers as well. I already have Leno in my league, thank God, who's been a baller. So trying to get him in for that would be money. And then if Kepa can get fit for that for Chelsea, he'd be a good shout there too.
If you need a streamer, somebody like a Paulinho might get you, the 15 that you're hoping for. He's probably not going to go much higher than that, right? But maybe get you, between the 2 of them, the 15.
Yeah, and like the defenders are, Leicester and Chelsea isn't the worst DGW, but maybe like high upside defenders that have a decent chance of doing both, like a Tete or a Tosin or Anthony, old Jedi. I wouldn't be necessarily opposed to fielding them, but and then Chelsea's going to be a crapshoot, and it's not like you can really stream anybody there. So I think it's mostly for Fulham.
Man, the rest of those doubles you mentioned, they're not that tasty. Like, I'm not really that interested in trying to gamble on many of those plays. Your Arsenal guys, it's not like you're picking anybody up really for that. Maybe like a Partey, but
exactly. There's not going to be too many folks from Arsenal or City, obviously, that aren't rostered. I think Partey is a good shout, or whoever's the starting left back at that point. But yeah, Zinchenko's probably healthy, so he's going to be. So Tierney's going to be out. I think he might be the only game in town for that. So and it's too early to pick him up and hold. So that'll be a longer term play, maybe like a game week 22, you sneakily pick him up in anticipation for that.
All right, beautiful. Well, let's move on to the other acronym, FDT. Of course, this one maybe not used quite as often, but people who are members of the inner circle or aspire to be members of the inner circle should be using this quite often. We have our very own Fixture Difficulty Tracker on thedraftsociety.com that breaks it down literally by every single position on the field. So check that out. It'll tell you what you can expect in terms of fantasy points, the average scored for those positions against that particular opponent, whether it's home or away. It's pretty impressive. So I kind of asked Totti to look into this just a little bit. And Totti, did you have any insights that maybe you gleaned from spending a minute or two with our lovely FDT?
Yes, literally a minute or two.
Yeah, I guess that's fine. No, that's the beauty is it doesn't take long though, right?
Yeah, and that's what I wanted to start with. Like, there's two public service announcements regarding the FDT. One is that we'll I'm sure that our silent and in the dark listeners have been eagerly watching our 12 days to Draftmas threads that have been dropping since last week, and they have not commented or retweeted yet, but they will. But the next few weeks, next few days will be focusing on teams that have good and bad fixtures coming up. So similar to what we'll be talking about a bit now. And also, I'm sure that you guys know, but I just wanted to highlight that there is actually on the FDT site, there is a link where you can check the Google Drive, the backdoor version of the FDT, and then you can customize it to show you the list for either position in any number of game weeks. So you can check your playoff fixture difficulties. You can check the upcoming 3, the upcoming 5, the weeks after this 3 game weeks stretch. So it's fully customizable, and that is not like on smack in the middle of the site. So you have to click on a link when you go on FDT, but that is the actual power tool that lies dormant behind the fancy visuals that you are greeted with when you go to the FDT page.
Nice.
So do look at that for some deep dives. So it's mostly gonna be similar to what Ryan talked about regarding double game weeks. Obviously, if you are filtering for the upcoming 5 game weeks, it's gonna be double game week heavy, as those game weeks actually obviously count for more points. The interesting thing is that, for example, and I wanted to highlight that, for example, for forwards, there is a team that sneaks into the top 4 or top 5, who do not have a double either in 19 or 20.
Yeah.
And that is Southampton, who have Brighton, Fulham, Nottingham Forest, and Everton.
That is very interesting.
In the upcoming game.
So that's
weeks.
what, Che Adams? I mean,
that is Che. Essentially,
you're not going to start
Adams.
Adam Armstrong or whoever the hell.
No, do not start. I would stream Sekou Mara if he starts, but who knows? We haven't seen Jones lineup from Southampton yet. We've seen one in the Carabao Cup against Lincoln, but that is neither here nor there. But I think Che Adams could be a sneaky trade-in target. If you can shift like someone like Luis Diaz, and not selling on the lie that he's healthy, just selling on the fact that he's a first round guy who is currently injured. Take him and he'll help you down the line.
Sure.
Just give us Che Adams back.
I like it.
Easy sell there.
That's all you got to do. Just send me.
Don't look at the numbers.
No, send me Jay. It's fine.
Just give them to me.
Just give it.
Do it.
Another interesting one, and for midfielders, another team makes the top 4 who doesn't have a double game week, and it is Nottingham Forest.
That's wild.
Ooh.
It's United, Chelsea, Southampton, and Leicester. So that is actually essentially what the fixture difficulty tracker is for. So if you're checking Ben Krellin, if you're checking FPL Salah, if you're checking all of these big FPL guys, they'll have, for Nottingham Forest, they'll have all these fixtures except for the Southampton one. So they'll have United, Chelsea, and Leicester as big red fixtures. Whereas, if you look at our fixture difficulty tracker, it takes into account the amount of points a certain position has accumulated against the teams they are facing. So, against United, it's 9.3 points for midfielders. Chelsea, it's 8.7. Southampton, it's 10.1. And Leicester, it's 10 points. So that is the average points a midfielder is expected to get against these teams. So if Gibbs White is healthy, which is still unclear, he would be my number one sleeper. Not sleeper in the sense that we use it, but a guy who probably a very good candidate for your start-sit article. A guy who you wouldn't think of starting.
Sure.
Against in any of these games.
I like that. Okay.
And as for defenders, and I'm purposefully not talking about goalkeepers. The team that is making the top 4 is Wolves. We have talked about this. It's Everton.
You said he wasn't going to talk about them.
It's Everton, United.
I did this. I laid this trap so that he would, out of spite.
Everton, United, Villa, and West Ham in the next 4 game weeks. So yeah, I'm all the way in with Ryan on one
for the next month.
Hugo Bueno or the talismanic Ryan Ait-Nouri, whichever one starts. Whichever one starts will get some sniff at sets as well.
I hope it's Ait-Nouri at this point, because Bueno has been plucked up in most of my leagues. I thought I'd have a little bit more time to pick him up, but the word is out
on that.
Yeah. Obviously, I would be more anxious if I started any of the other defenders, especially Semedo. I don't think he will score that well. Probably in a pinch, I'd be okay starting Collins or Kilman as well, especially against Everton. Obviously, all the rest, the forwards and the guys who have a chance at sets, like Moutinho, are good streamers.
Yeah. Nice. You said you weren't going to mention goalkeepers, but I will just say,
Do
Jose
not
Sa.
mention goalkeeper.
Jose Sa has been dropped almost everywhere, and if you're in a bind, not a bad shout.
Totally.
Yeah, I agree.
Nice.
Although I'm not going to talk about goalkeeper.
Okay, no, of course I won't make you. All right, beautiful. Well, Ryan, let's say we let Totti get to sleep. It's been later than his normal time that he joins us.
Big day.
Listeners, if you're wondering why he's getting a bit lethargic, that's probably why. Totti, okay, we'll hit you first then, and let you get off to Dreamland. Do you have any sleepers that you want to share with the listeners as you also sign off and bid them adieu?
I mean, we have mentioned most of them. I did shout out a few in my waiver wire articles, leading with Harry Maguire. An interesting one for me is Adam Lallana, who will most likely start in the role vacated by World Cup winner Alexis McAllister.
Yeah.
And if he's on a drip that makes him be able to play more than 10 minutes, then he's almost guaranteed to get you 10 points or more. Another guy who I want everyone to pick up right now is Fabio Carvalho, who played very well today against City. He started on the left of a front three with Bobby Firmino being out with a calf injury, I want to say. I'm not sure. So essentially Liverpool now have two healthy forwards. So even before the Firmino injury, he was a good shout for a pickup, as he had already started on the left wing before for Liverpool, and he'll continue to get minutes there as well. I expect if in fact this is a short-term injury for Bobby, and we'll see Nunez, Firmino, and Salah in most of the games going forward, I do expect him or Klopp to dabble in the 4-2-3-1, which would mean that Bobby would be playing as a 10 rather than as a false 9, and it would vacate the spot on the left for Carvalho, pushing Nunez up front and Salah on the right. So all in all, Carvalho, good. Pick him up.
Yeah, you're right about the calf injury as well. So it is a calf injury, but
it's all coming up, Totti.
Yeah, it's yes, exactly. But
if he wasn't injured, it would be coming up, Totti.
It does say not a big one, but
enough
for him to sit out just for the Carabao Cup clash. I don't know. We all know that the blurbs on Fantrax are not always to be trusted, so who knows? Sometimes they get a little bit saucy as well.
Love those. If anyone has good saucy Fantrax player blurbs, tweet at us at the Draft Society.
Yeah, we're trying to make we're trying to compile them. We're trying to compile them. The ones that are like low key, just basically like shit on a player, like for being bad. Like they'll say something like, like he's out with, like, okay, let's say a calf injury. He's out with a calf injury. Not that it would have mattered because his blah blah blah. Like things like that.
I think there was a good one with Ashley Young a few years back. It was like he's out with a blah blah injury. He wouldn't have started anyway, as he had been something. It was just so funny.
Exactly. Exactly.
Yeah.
This is what I'm here for. That's what we're looking for. So if you have those, let us know because we're trying to compile them and keep a little list, just for the hell of it. Anyway, Ryan, hit us with some streamers, and then let's close her down.
Alrighty. I actually wanted to briefly mention real quick, folks that will be missing out on game week 17 because of the World Cup.
Oh yeah, go for it.
Just so folks are around. So for Spuds, Yuri, Romero, Perisic, City Alvarez, West Ham Aguerd, Brighton, the aforementioned World Cup winner McAllister, Villa, Emi Martinez, which could dent the value of Villa defenders if you believe his understudy is not going to keep a clean sheet. Man United, we talked about Martinez and Varane that would open up the way for Slabhead, and Arsenal, potentially William Saliba. He's going to be, I think, arriving tomorrow. Is that enough time for him to slot into the lineup? I'm not sure. Segueing into streamers, I like Norgard for Brentford. I believe he's been out for a long time, but I believe he should be back for this one. Usually scores pretty well. Should probably be on your wire. I picked up Levi Colwill before the break because he had a really good debut before the break. I think 11.5 goals points, something like that. If Webster's still out, he should be slotting in. I really am interested in the Southampton game. Someone like a Joe Aribo or a Dozy could be decent at home to Brighton. We talked about Bueno or Nori. For Villa, David Luiz, I think, is still only 27% rostered. I think he dropped 16 the last game before the break under Emery. He's going to, I think, continue to have set pieces and could low-key be a decent asset moving forward, and he probably is on your wire unless I'm in your league. And then I mentioned Saliba not potentially being back. If that's the case, then a good old Rob Holding start could be in the future.
Oh, wow.
Or Kieran Tierney's more the likely starter. So I have Tierney. I am not opposed to dropping him for Holding if Holding gets the start, because Holding usually scores better than Tierney unless Tierney gets an attacking return. So if I'm a betting man, I probably think that Holding is a better asset there. So those are my streamers.
Oh, man. Holding and Tierney. It feels like 2019 all over again. This is great.
Yeah. Totti, I'm reminded of that West Brom game in the snow when you proxied for me against my most hated enemy.
Yep.
And they teamed up for probably the best goal in the history of football.
Yep. That was a good one. That was a good one.
Was that the Tierney screamer?
Yeah. Tierney 50 point
I started
game.
in that match too.
Yeah, Holding gives him the ball like right next to the goal, and he just takes it down for the.
Yep.
It's such a bullshit assist, but I loved it.
It's so good. It's so good. Oh man! All right, wonderful. Well, okay, nice, boys. Totti, thank you for staying up with us. I know this has been
you're a trooper,
but you're the best, man.
You are more than welcome. What are you guys mentioned off the air?
Yeah.
That you are all staying at home for Christmas. Are you making some food to remember your roots, or are you just Nando's all the way?
That is my roots, man.
Exactly.
Mozambique.
We're doing steaks, so that's not really what we traditionally do in my household. But my mother-in-law sent us steaks for presents this year. Like, that was our present. It was like steaks showed up at our door, and they're really, really nice. And so we're gonna eat those.
Oh, beautiful.
Yeah.
What steak? What kind of steaks?
There's 2 different cuts. I think there's like a New York strip, and she got us fillets.
Nice.
Yeah.
Ooh,
Yeah.
Fancy, Joe.
I know. I'm not gonna eat for like 3 days. It's fine.
We're doing a nice dinner on Christmas Eve, and then we bought a bunch of stuff from the store to make a big breakfast on Christmas morning.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Love it.
And then Nando's the rest of the weekend.
Of course. There you go.
Of course.
Boxing Day.
How about you, Totti?
we are having our my in-laws over for the whole holidays, so I'm making halibut and pork tenderloins.
Ooh, I'm making pork tenderloin tomorrow. That's awesome. Very cool.
Friends.
Very cool. We are indeed. All right, boys. It's been so much fun. I love you guys. It's great to be back. Listeners, we also love you. You're the best. Thanks for sticking with us if you made it this far. Best of luck on Boxing Day. Hang with us. Add us on Twitter if you have any questions, especially as things get more congested. We may not be able to put out a pod between every single game week. We certainly will try. But if we can't, always open up a dialogue. We'll get you some streamers. We'll get you some help with your start-sit decisions. Anything you need, let us know. Open up a dialogue on Twitter. We're always there to help you out. So thanks again for listening. This has been the KPC. Cheers until next time.